I wasn't very surprised that the Chiefs got up. I honestly thought the Crusaders played their best game of the season the week before against the Reds, when they put 43 points up on the Reds. A brilliant, well-executed game plan that absolutely, snotted the Reds. Very, very hard for a team, even as good as the Crusaders, to back that up. And, the two performances just showed it's very hard to go back-to-back with sublime performances. And I actually had the Chiefs to beat them.
It's a remarkable record, isn't it? That's the 16th time a New Zealand team has hosted a semi, and they've won every single one of them. So that home ground advantage is huge.
Well, it is, and if you look at the Crusaders, their last 8 games out of Christchurch on the road, they've lost 5. So they haven't travelled that well outside their fortress down in Christchurch. And home ground advantage, I honestly thought the Bulls would have taken it, and the Chiefs did. The Chiefs fans brought the Chiefs back in that second half, and basically, got them over the line. So don't take anything away of that home ground advantage. It's players are living in their own houses. They're not on the road. They're not flying. They're not in hotels. They're in family life. They're settled, and they've got the same procedure: get up, go to the ground, and prepare, instead of getting in a bus and things like that. So that track record of the Crusaders on the road hasn't been that good, and I took that into account when I laid my money out with the TAB.
Is it simple to say that the two first fives in varying form, Cruden on top of his game, Dan Carter not quite, was the difference in the end?
Well, I still thought Dan played pretty well. His tackle rate was good. Aaron Cruden, got he had 4 from 5 off the kicking tee. Dan got 5 from 7, one hitting the goalpost. That one only had to go over, and they were in the hunt. Had a couple of cracks at drop goals. I thought the last one they could have basically set themselves up again. They had the ball, they could have set themselves up and just be patient, and that didn't work. But I thought both first fives went pretty good. It's clear cut that Aaron Cruden is Dan Carter's deputy when you go into the All Black camp. And we're pretty damn bloody lucky, Tom, to have a look around what we've got with first fives. There's a few out there. And yet only a couple can go into the All Blacks.
Of the two prospective opponents, again, there's just a general feeling that they may have preferred to play the Bulls because they're not great travellers. But having said that, the Brumbies are going to go there and back. So would we be happy enough to be playing the Brumbies?
Yeah, I think they'll be happy. The Chiefs will be extremely happy. It doesn't matter who came into the finals because they're at home. And but now they know who the opponents are. Their whole game plan and that strategy and that think tank they've got down at the Chiefs, Rennie Smith, Strawbridge and co. They'll be putting their heads together and say, right, it's the Brumbies. We know what they bring. They don't play a hell of a lot on their own half. They go for that big aerial assault with good chase lines. They play for territory. And once they get down into, the attacking zones of the track, they then try and, strangle you, squeeze you for penalties out of their scrum and their line-outs, their set piece. So you basically know what they bring to the track. They're not incredibly adventurous, but they're a well-drilled team. They've got Jake White there, and they've got some good, strong game plans. And surprisingly, the Bulls didn't bully them up. Their set piece held well. Their scrum and line out in Victoria went very good. And that will be an area where, the Chiefs will say, well, if we're a little bit slack in our, physicality at rucks and line-outs and scrums, then this is going to be one hell of a dogfight.
And I think, too, the Brumbies showed quite a bit of ticker that was perhaps missing in recent weeks. They were ahead of that game, then they fell behind, but they stuck to it right to the very last whistle, and it paid off.
Oh, heck yeah. They showed a lot of grit. You go to Victoria and travel there and, get under the hammer with some of their fans. You got to be mentally tough. You got to be mentally hard. And their defence, I thought, was outstanding. Like the Chiefs, they won their game with their defence. And they've got a pack that stood up. As I said, I thought the Bulls would have done my normal bully bull stuff and got stuck into them. But that pack of the Brumbies, they're going pretty good. And when you look through them, they've got a few wallabies. They've got some good strike weapons out wide. They've got Christian Leofano, who kicks the goals. I mean, I don't know how many he got. He didn't miss too many. And yet, but I have to say, Tom, the Bulls coaching staff must be firing some bullets at Pagetta, the captain of the Bulls. I mean, turning 3 shots down, penalty shots, with 12 minutes to go. I think they were they weren't too far away, maybe in 2019 or something, I'm not too sure. But to turn 3 kickable penalties down, Stain was hitting 85, 80% success rate. They turned 3 down. They only needed one of them, let alone 2, and probably Stain would have got 3 out of 3, and the game was theirs. So it just goes you to show when you're in the playoffs, you have to win the game to keep playing. And you win the game no matter how boring it is. 3 shots a goal. If they got 2, that's 6 points, game set and done. Thanks very much, Brumbies, for coming. We'll travel to Hamilton and take the Chiefs on in the final. I just don't know whether that team could be so confident they could go for a line-out and try a line-out drive and get a try and get 7. Why not just take the 3 points on offer? Oh, yeah. And that's what it's all about. You've got to win to keep playing. Otherwise, you sit back and watch the final in front of a television set in your home. Poor captaincy, extremely poor. And I bet the Bulls management staff and coaching staff would be absolutely pissing themselves at the moment. I think that was poor judgment.
Absolutely, yeah. Especially when you've got such a good kicker as Stain. But let's look forward ahead a week now. You're as confident about a Chiefs victory this time round as you were last Saturday.
Well, I'm still going to go with the home ground advantage, Tom, and it is amazing. It is big for the Chiefs to have their fans down there. They're pretty vocal on Saturday night. They got them home in that last 20 minutes, and if the Chiefs can show the same committed attitude on their defence, because I thought their defence won the game. The Crusaders poured a lot of heat on them, and they held up. Didn't miss too many tackles. Made a few errors in the first half. They'll tighten up their line-out. They was a bit wobbly in the first half. Heke not quite hitting their marks. The scrum was okay. They were physical at the breakdown and in the collision areas. And as you can see, they'll pounce on any error. Cruden picked up a bad mistake from Crotty. Cost them the game. And then you're going to have to rely on some individual brilliance, like someone like Masanga. The try that he got basically turned the game for the Chiefs. Just got them back in it. And so you just got to take the opportunities, and I think they do take the opportunities. They've got home ground advantage, and they will be if they've got the chance to be the 3rd New Zealand franchise to win back-to-back titles. The Crusaders have done it, the Blues have done it, and now the Chiefs have got every opportunity. And I tell you what, if they do that, that's a fantastic effort from everyone down there in that Chiefs camp.
Yeah, and you've got to say something about the Rennie Smith combination. I mean, they lost Sonny Bill Williams, and people thought the star factor had gone, but they make that team work regardless, don't they?
Well, they do, and look, people haven't picked up on this, but they made 4 changes in the back line for that semi-final last Saturday night versus what they played the week before or 2 weeks before because they had the rest. All right, 4 changes in the back line. That's a fairly major. And some of them were not because people were injured. Bundyaki, he played extremely well, and he got benched, and they went with Hole in the midfield, a new fullback, a new centre. They had 4 changes out of 7, and still beat the Crusaders. When I saw those changes, I thought, "Whoa, heck! There's only 7 from the start, but you got 4 new guys out there." That was a big call, probably from Wayne Smith, or being the back coach, or David. That was a very big call to make 4 new changes in jerseys since 9 to 15, and they got away with it. And none of those guys played badly. Now, what will they do in this final? Will they go with the same back line, or will they look at Bundyaki coming back in? I mean, I think those other 4 guys that were in there, Anscombe, there was Hole, and there was Ngatai, and the Tukura Truma on the wing. 4 guys. Well, they all played well enough to cement their spots again, but, gee, that's a big change.